Do you call yourself a procrastinator? You start a project or you start a task like a homework assignment, and before you know it, you put it off and put it off and put it off, and you never get to doing it. If that sounds like you, I've got a nice, simple technique to help you out, and more importantly, a concept to understand why does it keep happening. Today, we're going to talk about the pause button. Hi, I'm Dr. Brinen. I'm a psychologist and I'm a co-creator of recovery-oriented cognitive therapy. And on this channel, I like to give people nice, simple techniques to help support them in their recovery. And today, we're going to attack a common thing that comes up in a lot of my work. And more importantly, we're going to talk about how to address it in the long run. I'm going to talk to you about the pause button. Do you ever find when you have a task to do, it might be something for work, it might be an assignment at school, it might be something you have to get done at home, and every time it comes up, you put it off again and again and again. I want you to think about it for just one moment. When you have that homework assignment that you have to get done, how do you feel when that's going on? Right. You feel a little bit anxious or you feel a little bit stressed. And then what do? That's right. You put it aside for a moment. You might clean out your closets. You might go get a drink of water. You might turn on a video game or YouTube. And when you do that, what's that like for you? Right. The anxiety goes down. So the next time you have to do that task, what happens to your anxiety? It goes up again. When you stop yourself from doing it, how do you feel? Right, your anxiety goes down. This is what I like to call the pause button. When that task comes up, you hit the pause button and you go do something else. Over time, you're reinforcing that behavior of hitting the pause button. It goes back to one of the most basic concepts in psychology. It's called negative reinforcement. You're removing something unpleasant, that anxiety that we feel when we have to do a task. And that reinforces the behavior, avoidance, or what I'm calling the pause button. Reinforcement means increasing the likelihood of the behavior happening again. So every time you hit that pause button, you feel better. And so that reinforces that avoidance or that pause button. You're not trying to be bad. You're not unable to do these types of things. It's just you keep reinforcing that behavior over and over and over again. But here's the problem with the pause button. You come home, you try to do the assignment, you hit the pause button, you go on YouTube, you check out more of my videos. Thanks for subscribing. But after a couple of videos, you go, I should get to that assignment. So you sit down to do the assignment, and then the anxiety comes back again. And you're like, well, I'm just gonna hit that pause button again. So then you go check out those brain breaks. You watch a couple of those and your anxiety goes down again. But now it's late at night and you're like, I really better get to this assignment. So what happens? Your anxiety rises again. You hit the pause button. Maybe this time you go play a video game. Every time you try to do the assignment, your anxiety goes up. Every time you hit that pause button, it goes down. And you get stuck in this loop. But here's where the problem gets worse. The next day when you get home from school or you get home from work, now you have two assignments to do. You have to get the assignment done from the first day, and now you have to get the assignment done from the second day. So now you have twice as much anxiety. And so both of the anxieties go up, so you hit the pause button harder. When you hit the pause button, you feel more relief. You're removing that aversive stimulus. So that reinforces the behavior. So when you sit down to do both assignments again, what happens? The anxiety goes up. So what do? You hit the pause button again and you're stuck in this cycle. But now we get into another problem. That first assignment might become late. So now you have a second assignment. Now you have a third assignment. And so we start having this pile up of assignments, so your anxiety gets higher. And so you're hitting the pause button more, which is leading to more relief. And this is where that problem of procrastination comes in, because ultimately you have a backup. It's like a traffic jam of assignments that you have to get done. So your stress gets higher and higher and higher. And eventually you lose points on the assignment, or the taxes that you were trying to get done get late and you get penalties, and you have problems related to hitting that pause button over and over again, which makes you more stressed. And then you start labeling yourself. Me, I'm a procrastinator. None of this helps you get the things done successfully. And you feel worse about yourself. If that sounds like you and you're thinking, thanks, Aaron, I really needed to hear somebody describe that on YouTube, don't worry. I've got 3 simple solutions to help with your pause button problem. Solution 1, only hit the pause button once. I know that might sound weird, thinking, isn't that reinforcing the behavior? It is. But let's say you get home from work or you get home from school and you see the homework assignment in front of you and you're like, ugh, I just want a break. You can have a break. You get one break. So you might go on YouTube, you might play a video game, but you only do it one time. After that, no more pause buttons. You get right to it and you start the assignment. Solution 2, when you think about hitting the pause button, all I want you to do is open up whatever the task is and read through what needs to be done. So if it's a homework assignment or a paper you've got to write, just open it up and read through the rubric or the description of the assignment. If it has to do with some sort of task about your home, just open it up. Look at what needs to be done. Just read through it. I don't want you to start it, just read through it. Sometimes you might find, wow, that's way simpler than I thought it was going to be. And so you actually might start the task because you see how straightforward it's going to be. 3, whatever the tasks are that you have to do, whether it's in your home, whether it's for school, whether it's for work, when all of those come in front of you, open it up and plan out when you're going to do those things. So I'm going to use a paper for school as an example. If you've got a paper for school, open up your syllabus at the beginning of the semester and list out everything that you need to do and plan when are you going to do that. That way you reduce the pressure on yourself. If I know I have an assignment due in 2 months, I can plan when am I going to do it. So I leave plenty of breathing room for getting that assignment done. If I do that, I'm not going to have that surge of anxiety that in 2 days the assignment's due. So you plan that out. Also, if life happens along the way, you've got a buffer planned in. You've got extra time so that way you're never under this huge pressure. If you have less pressure, you're less likely to hit that pause button. So to summarize, it's not a character flaw that you're this procrastinator and yet don't have the ability to finish an assignment. That's not you. You have the worst disease of all. You're a human, and every human, in fact, every creature operates under the idea of negative reinforcement. When we remove an unpleasant experience, it reinforces the behavior. So when you have that stress going on and then you hit the pause button, it feels better. But more importantly, it increases the likelihood of hitting the pause button in the future. Every time you hit that pause button, you're creating a backup of other things that need to get done. And that increases the stress on you. And so therefore you lean into that behavior of the pause button. But we've got 3 simple solutions. Solution 1, hit the pause button only one time. Solution 2, before you hit that pause button, open up whatever that task is so you can see exactly what you're hitting the pause button on. You may find it's easier to get it done now, and then later on, you've got all the freedom in the world. Solution 3, when you have a lot of tasks to do, it might be homework assignments, it might be projects for work, read through all of them and plan when are you going to do them. That way you reduce the overall pressure on yourself. You have a plan ahead of time. And with that, the pause button becomes your nemesis, not the tasks that you're trying to get done. Because you might be a lot more productive than you think you are. You might have just become a victim of a pause button. If you found this helpful, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with a friend of yours who may be a pause button hitter themselves. Leave a comment below of times that the pause buttons hung you up. And if you want other simple solutions for getting back to your life, check out my book, Living Well with Psychosis. It's a practical guide for those trying to live well with psychosis, who oftentimes struggle with things like the pause button and other ways to focus. And if you're looking for other solutions, check out these playlists of simple techniques for getting back to living your life. Thanks so much. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Until then, be well.